So this video, what this is essentially, it's going to be a walkthrough of my lessons and what I'm teaching with the Handweaving Academy in hopes that we could get more rigid heddle weavers to sign up. So what I did was I designed a couple of these 3-shaft twill hand towels, and I'm going to show you the interface, show you the classes that I have, and the process of weaving these. And it's just really, really fun. It's a different philosophy than other classes where it's more open-ended. It's a choose your own adventure. So you can take all these classes on color and design and structures. And then I have classes on the philosophy and the theory of the rigid heddle, how it's different than floor looms, and how to take like a 3-shaft draft and thread your rigid heddle with any 3-shaft draft. So it doesn't teach you, this is the twill, you're going to learn this twill, you're going to get this set of materials, and here's your colors, and then you get the outcome, which is a really common way of teaching, and it's a great way of teaching. But sometimes you just want to know the philosophy, so then you could say, well, I want to make something that's never been made before, for better or for worse, and learn how to design my own projects, and even maybe design projects so you can sell them to Handwoven magazine. You can make your own patterns to sell on your own website. Learning how to design from scratch is a different, it just takes a different part of your brain. And that is what makes the Handweaving Academy different than all the other schools out there. So, and the other great thing too is it's a multi-loom discipline area. So, and it's meant to kind of dovetail and fit in with the other teachers. So it's not really competing. It's not like if you belong to Liz Gibson with Yarn Worker, Jane Stafford, or Kelly Casanova, these really talented, amazing instructors. It's not like you leave them and go to the Handweaving Academy. You can take all their classes, learn everything from them, then go into the Handweaving Academy for a while and get a whole different experience that utilizes everything that you've learned everywhere else. So it's not a one, learn from this person or learn from this person. You're going to learn from everybody, and then all together it's going to become like, you know, you're just going to know so much about weaving. So anyway, I'm going to go down to the basement. We're going to go log into the computer, and let me design these towels, and we'll go through the whole thing and we'll weave them, and I'll see you in a little bit. Bye. Okay, so in case you're wondering why I wove the towels and then I'm coming back here to design them, I actually recorded all of this first and then lost my recording. So I have no idea where they went. I cleaned, you know when you clean your desktop and then you, like the next week, you're like, oh wait, now I can't find any of these files. Maybe it's just me, but I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to clean my desktop on my computer, and now I can't find things that I need. It's okay though. We'll just record this and pretend like it's brand new. Maybe it'll be even better. Who knows? So this is the dashboard of the Handweaving Academy. We have an area for blogs. You can see the courses I've taken. There's a lot of live events. I think like there's at least one live event a week. You could have office hours with TN. You could have office hours with Janet. And then there's peer support groups, so you could bring in your weaving and show people like what you're working on and get actual feedback. You could go to your list of members. We have a weaver's toolbox here, which is constantly being worked on, and it's just different tips and tricks and calculators and worksheets all related to weaving. We have tools and calculators, which will be coming back to this in just a second. This is the draft editor and our very own twill generator made by Janet. Let's give her a little clap. We'll go to that one here in just a second. I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to show you the courses. This is the courses. So this is 29 courses that were that came out last week. No, not last week. Oh my gosh, in 1 year. 29 courses last year. So that's a lot. And they're coming up with their whole new course load for this coming year. But my little portion of it, I have one class that I'm working on right now. But for the most part, most of the rigid heddle stuff is up here, except for, you know, what we might have planned later, which would be things like 4-shaft drafts on a rigid heddle, because a lot of people like to do that. I personally like the 3-shaft drafts because they use 2 heddles, and most rigid heddles actually take 2 heddles. When you get into the 3 heddle work, you start coming into all these things like hacks or how to get 3 heddles onto your loom, and there's just so much you could do with 2 heddles. You could stay in the 2 heddle realm for years and never run out of stuff. So that's why I kind of tend to focus on that. But you can see some of my classes here. I've got a class on 3-shaft twills. We have translating the threadings. We have getting it onto your loom. Tian teaches color classes. This is how to utilize colors for holiday weaving. Another class on color mixing, managing your hue and saturation. And then there's Janet. Janet's like the structure queen. So she's been going really deep into twills. There's a classic twills class, which is good for anybody to learn, or what is a twill. So, you know, if you've ever been curious what makes something a twill, there's a whole class on it. So much stuff. You can learn about lift plans, which is great to know. Even if you think that you'll never use them, learning how the lift plan works will open up your weaving vocabulary. Yeah. We had a weave along this year, but you could always jump in and do the weave along. It's a plain weave along that utilizes color, like dull colors, so like blues and browns, and you're just using value to create like bold and dynamic designs. We did a deep dive on cotton yarn, so there's a whole lesson on what makes cotton yarn special and what kinds of cottons there are, and then how to use the Ashenhurst calculator. Oh my gosh, just so much. So this is what's here right now, which does not include everything that's going to get put in the next year. So I'm actually really excited because I actually have to take all these classes. I think I've taken all of them but a couple, and I have learned so much. So we're going to go over to the tools and calculators. Here we go. Okay, twill generator. Okay, the twill generator is so awesome. So I'm going to go here. I want this to be a 3-shaft twill. And I am going to say I want no, it's not Dornick. It is Wall of Troy. That's what I'm doing. It's making it in 3. Okay, we're going to apply that. Huh. That is different. Maybe it was the Dornick. No, broken. Oh, there we go. That's what it is. Okay, cool. So that was the threading that I did. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. So fun. So that is my twill. I could do a ton of things if I wanted to be a little bit more dynamic or random. I'm going to change my tie up right there because I want it to be more like a direct tie up like that. And then there's a whole class on how to do that. Everything has a video. We try to do things with different learning styles. So some things everything is written. We do live lectures and we do videos in hopes that we could offer things in ways that will work with everybody's learning style. Let's see here. Now we generated it. That's all good. I just want to download it. Okay, so I'm going to download my WIF. Went into my little download place, and now I'm going to go into the draft editor. So we are going to take my draft. I am going to upload what I just did. What I just downloaded. Is this it? Let's see, this is from today. There it is. Okay, so there we go. So that looks a little different than my towels, but not too much. Let's go ahead and start adding some threads. because I want to add in a border. So like that and like that. And then I just added a straight draw like this and like this. So that way I have the diagonal on the side, and then I have to add my colors. So I'm going to kind of estimate what the colors were. They were a little bit, no, it wasn't greenish. There we go. So I had this color, and then I also had a yellow. And there's an area on here where you can actually upload a photo. So if there was a photo I wanted to match, I could grab, what's here? I can't talk and design at the same time. There we go. Anyway, you can go in and you can choose an image from your desktop. And so let's say if I had this beautiful sunset and I wanted to design something around the sunset, which is sort of a project we do a lot through Tien when she teaches design. She'll have you find inspiration and then take that inspiration and make a draft from it, which is really cool. So there's just so much to play with. It's really, really fun. So I'm going to go ahead and remember, yeah, I was going to do, I ended up not using this yellow at all in my actual weaving, but I did put it into my original design. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate that. So this one is going to be, no, that's right, because no, I did this opposite. There we go. This one goes this way. This was right. I had, yep, okay, that's right. We're doing good so far. Okay. And then I also did these borders like that. So, kind of doing every other. So like I said, I didn't actually use this yellow in my weft. It was all just blue, but that is pretty close to what my original design was. If you'll, you know, at the end, you'll see what they actually look like. I actually did some purple in here. So let's see what that looked like if I just put it into the draft. Yeah, it looks kind of like that. So, okay, I think that is my draft that I have designed that now I'm going to put onto my loom. So I'm going to go ahead and download it. I am going to download my WIF, and I'm going to download my drawdown image. And my drawdown image is just like a pictorial it's a picture of it. So I can print this off, and this is what I'm going to use to make my threading diagram. So after you design it, you take the class on learning how to thread it, print off the threading diagram, and you'll be ready to weave. I think that's it. Okay, so we're going to go back upstairs, and I will talk about the next part of the process. Welcome to step 2. Now that I have created my draft, which I printed out right here, which looks so cool. I'm really excited to weave it. I also printed off a threading diagram, and everything that I learned to do here, I teach in the class of how to turn this into some squiggly noodles. So it looks messy, but it helped me practice my threading. I actually have done this so many times that I don't really need to have these maps. It just helps me figure out my process of where I'm going to move my threads through the 2 heddles. So it was really helpful to actually do this. Sometimes I just wing it and then I pull it out if it's not working. But going through that process, the process that I taught, was really, yeah, I learned, you learned, we all learn. Okay, And I've got my two beautiful Gist yarns, Support Gist. They are a beautiful company, okay? So my next job is I could actually, you know, I could figure out my density here, figure out how many loops to pull through each slot, but because I've decided to use doubled 8-2, it means that I could actually pull through as I'm warping, direct warping. I've got a chair right over there for my warp. So I'm going to take over this whole table for a couple hours. I'm going to go ahead and warp both my highs and my slots as I warp because I'm doubling. So I pull a loop through, right? And then I pull the next loop through. So I'm going to actually use my threading chart as I warp. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I would show you that process, but I kind of don't really have a good way of filming it, and it's kind of boring. But, you know, as it is. Okay, we are done. Oops. So I ran out of the yellow. I was just kind of winging it, and I didn't measure in all my, or I didn't see if I'd have enough materials, but this will be kind of a nice little hand towel. It's probably about 12 inches wide. And let's see how long it took for me to warp this sucker. It took me, go into my clock, 1 hour and 30 minutes. So an hour and a half, I have my loom warped with a 3-shaft twill weave and 8-2 cotton. And all I have to do is start weaving it and I have towels. All right, that is it. And yeah, I'll check in when these are done and we'll see what I ended up making. It's always so fun to get to the stage and actually see what the weaving will turn out like. And all right, I'll be back, I guess. And here are my final towels. They are very, very soft. They're very absorbent. I experimented with a couple different colors. I really like the strength of that purple. It's a really cool design. So this is something that I would not have been able to do even a year ago. And luckily, through this process of teaching and learning at the Handweaving Academy, I can now create my own patterns and my own designs and make things I never thought I would be able to make on the rigid heddle loom, and I hope it's something that you can learn as well. I hope that you found this video fun. Like I showed you in the beginning, these are my finished towels, and I think that they are quite fun. I like the different colors and textures and patterns, and then if you flip them over, so you can see they're yellow on the side because 3-shaft twills are never the same. So you get one pattern on one side, one pattern on the other, which is one of those things I think is really cool about 3-shaft twills. The other thing is that's really cool is this Wall of Troy actually broke some rules that I had thought were 3-shaft twill rules. And what's really cool is that you can actually go onto the forums and talk about it and talk about how the structure turned out different than you thought it would because you might have had a theory or philosophy about that structure. And then once you put it in practice, you're like, oh my gosh, it came out different than I thought it would. So what was different? And we could get into this really deep conversation about why or why not, or where maybe the structure was used in history, or maybe this is a structure that people have never really woven before, at least not commonly. And we talk about things that you can do with it. Maybe somebody else could have another idea. And that's just, if you love talking and getting, like, you can get as completely obsessive as you want to get. And you know, if you're a weaver, when you go out and start talking to people, they kind of glaze over. They're like, okay, that's not going to happen to you there. You're going to have your community who's going to be equally right there with you. So anyway, that is my whole program. This is kind of like an advertisement, but it would be really awesome because if we could get more rigid heddle weavers into the Handweaving Academy, then we could get more teachers. And also we destroy the silos between the looms. It's no longer rigid heddle weavers over here, floor loom weavers over here, draw loom weavers over here. Like, we're all together as a community that keeps these traditions growing and living and organically alive. All right, I'll see you next time and hope to see you soon. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Okay, I think I'm done.